Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to episode 33 of the third season of the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 5 weeks are now in the books, and the season is starting to cruise by. At this point in time, we have a relatively large sample size of games to go off of, so we may be sending some guys to fold this week. We'll talk about that in a bit. But if you are looking for a preview of tonight's game, we included some stuff about that game in our last episode, so make sure you check that out after this one. Today, we are back with Calm or Chaos, talking about some struggling players, and some Trust or Bust, talking about some guys who had big-time games. Then we'll wrap up with some waiver targets and a buy low, sell high candidate at the end. And of course, trivia with Q. And we'd like to welcome Matt back after a week vacation. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Wow, you're mean.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Matt, we forgot about you.
Missed you guys.
We missed you too, pal. All right, let's get right into some Calm or Chaos. Starting at the quarterback position, as always, with Jared Goff. 5.86 points, 19 of 35, 229 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and lost a fumble. Is this Calm or Chaos for people that were trusting Goff?
I'm still calm.
Yeah. His
All right, thank
receivers are banged up.
Goff clearly does not have any good luck against the Patriots, as we saw in the Super Bowl where he scored 0 touchdowns. So maybe they just have his number.
Yeah, that is definitely true. He has some more favorable matchups coming up after the bye week. He is on a bye next week, and his receivers should get more healthy. So I would agree with T-Gods. I'm staying more calm than chaotic at this point in time. All right. Let's keep it rolling here with the next quarterback on the list. Sorry, I couldn't find it. Russell Wilson, 9.16 points, 21 for 39, 274 yards, and 2 picks, no touchdowns. What are we doing with Russ?
Absolute chaos.
Chaos. Sorry, Q.
No, I'll speak on this real quick. It's chaos, absolutely chaos. But he just got some injection because clearly he's hurt. So the injection, hopefully the injection helps, but it shows it's not giving him any sort of pass for the missing the reads and whatnot. But clearly he's hurt. Hopefully the shot helps. I'm just gonna keep fighting it and keep starting him because I don't know what. There's definitely better out there. I think he's still QB9 on the season, which is unreal.
14.
I guess it updated.
That's a lot different.
I checked like 9 a.m., but I'm going to keep riding with him. This thing has to eventually come together. The coach is still god-awful, but with no running back, I just think that there's still a higher ceiling because he's going to have to throw the ball. So chaos for sure, but I will guarantee a better day ahead. Maybe just one Sunday, or Monday or Thursday because all he does is play prime time. So
according to Lil Kevy, missed KJ Hamler butt naked in the end zone.
He did, though.
He did.
He has 4 passing touchdowns.
And a rush.
4.
Taysom Hill might have the same.
Yeah, it's tough right now. Russell Wilson, I'm leaning towards chaos. Like, I have him in a league, and I am 99% sure I'm starting Gino Smith over him next week.
I wouldn't be against that.
That's where I'm at this point with Russ. If I'm holding him, I'm not dropping him or trying to trade him because his value's at an all-time low. I do think better days can come, but not starting him. Polar Knights, appreciate this. I think we do have a pretty decent evolution of beard growth, finishing with Matt.
Yep.
I think we finished with you, Sean. The chin strap is undefeated.
Chin strap penguin. That's me, baby. All right, last quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, 10.34 points, 25 for 47, 286 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Also had 29 yards rushing on 4 carries. Calm or chaos for Trev?
Did the Eagles ruin the Jaguars?
Yep.
Are they back to being the Jaguars?
Yep.
I think I'm staying calm on Trev.
I'm staying calm to the extent that, like, I don't think I'm dropping him. I don't know if I'm confident starting him next week against the Colts.
Well, yeah. Depends. Would you start him over Russ?
I don't know. That one's tough. That's a tough one.
Would you start him over Wentz?
No.
Hmm.
Wentz has he gets the Bears this week.
Wentz, I have a take about Wentz later, but Wentz I'd consider. That's a tough one. That's one I'd
We'll
have
go
to
take
look at
the
for a
tape
minute.
later, I guess.
Yeah, that's one we'll talk about next week. Not next week, on Wednesday this week for our preview. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he's a little bit more risky of a start for me. I'm not as comfortable as I was maybe a week ago. All right, let's move on to some running backs, starting with Chase Edmonds, 0.1 points, 1 carry, 1 yard, and 0 catches on 2 targets, and his snap share went down to 15%.
That's
Bomber chaos.
terrible.
Not good at all. Chaos.
He'll only
Chaos
have
for sure.
any sort of value if Mostert gets hurt. But if he's not getting hurt, Edmonds is useless.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like this is Mostert's backfield. He cooked this week.
Are you hold or fold for Chase Edmonds?
Hold. Just
Hold, yeah.
in case, like what Q said, if one of those other running backs were to go down.
Yeah, I think hold. Just leave him on your bench.
Yep.
We got a question in the chat here. Should I trade Jamar Chase, James Robinson, and Antonio Gibson for Kamara, DK, and Waddle?
Oh, I can't see that question. It's not in Twitch.
Who are your other running backs? I think that's the main thing here.
Matt, click on the
Should I
comments.
trade
It's a
Jamar
private
Chase?
chat on the side.
I
snap.
would do that.
That's close. Yeah, it really does depend on your running backs, Joe. Like your depth, because you are
Maybe
giving up James Robinson. But I mean, I like Kamara over Robinson. Jamar's
I love
obviously
DK.
the better player. But DK,
I think
and
I would do
Waddle
it.
for Jamar is
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
think I'm
And Gibson's
taking
useless
Kamara's
right
side.
now, so
Yeah.
I think I would do that. And I don't hate that. You are selling maybe a little bit low below Jamar Chase's value, but because he is the best player in the trade. But I think overall you're getting the better haul.
I mean,
especially if
Kamara
you need a
looked
better
like
flex.
Kamara last week.
Yeah,
Finally.
exactly.
About damn time.
Yep. All right. Let's keep rolling here. AJ Dillon, 3.4 points, 6 carries for 34 yards, and no targets. His snap share dropped to 32% after 50+% for the first 4 games. Calm or chaos here?
It's
I'm
a
still
little
calm.
chaotic.
I'm
No,
still
I can't-
calm.
This is 5 weeks into the season. That man has had one good game, and that was week 1.
The only narrative you
And
can
his
ride
snap share is going down.
is that the Packers are the 4th highest. They rush the 4th most in the league. So I guess you can ride that and hope that the yards or the plays for him start producing more, but it's chaotic for me. For a year that he's supposed to break out, I guess, and be like a solid RB2.
He was taken as like RB2 or flex.
I'm with Joey Swank, 47. I'm calm.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Dillon's been still getting solid work. I think this was a weird game against the Giants. Like, I don't know what happened this game. I think the game plan kind of fell apart and they just abandoned whatever they were planning on doing. But even with 6 carries, he was pretty efficient. And I think as the season goes on, AJ Dillon's going to get harder to tackle. So I think better days are still ahead. I'm still a fan. I am a little bit more nervous than I was a couple weeks ago as it continues to be struggles, but I'm still leaning towards calm here. Holding out hope for better days. J.K. Dobbins, 4.4 points, 8 carries for 44 yards, and 40% of the snaps actually down after the last 2 weeks. Calm or chaos for J.K. Matt.
Calm. I have no choice.
Every time I saw a run, I thought it was JK because it looked someone running good like
fucking
JK. And it was
17,
Drake.
bro.
I know, or Lamar. It's Lamar or Drake that I was seeing running the ball. But JK did look good when he was able.
When he had the ball,
hold
he
the
was.
ball.
Yeah, if he had the volume, his production was there. What do you have? Only 8 carries. You can't really do much off that. So, and I feel like in the second half, he kind of just disappeared. I wasn't really seeing him on the field too much. So maybe he's still rehabbing from that injury. So as soon as he gets his full workload, which should be in the upcoming weeks, hopefully sooner than later, he should be good.
Yeah, I'm still leaning towards calm as well with JK. I still think he's going to be the lead back on this team, and this team has better days ahead offensively for sure.
Are you
I saw
starting
too
him
much
though?
Mike Davis.
JK,
It
Yeah.
depends on your
I have
options next
to.
week.
certainly not starting Gainwell.
JK or one of the
Or Brian
Cowboys running
Robinson.
backs.
I don't know who they play next week.
The Eagles.
Cowboys
the
play the Eagles.
Ravens
Who-
play the I don't know.
Yeah. I'd probably still avoid the Cowboys running backs if I could.
Ravens
JK
play
's
the
also getting
Giants.
The Giants too. Giants have been pretty stingy against the run, but still lean towards JK. It's a close one. Schultz, this is the new layout for the last week or so. So you are a little late, but not too late.
Too late.
And then we got another trade question from Nick. Is Damien Harris and Jerry Jeudy for Ramondre Stevenson a good trade? He's in desperate need for an RB2.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Jeudy hasn't really proven anything so far this year. Like we said earlier, Russ has been playing like hot garb, and Damien Harris is out. So this is honestly Stevenson's chance to really take over that backfield.
Yeah, by the time Harris comes back, he probably won't really have much of a role, or at least it'd be a very small role.
Yeah. I think he'll be back involved. Like,
yeah,
you never know with the Patriots, but Stevenson right now is definitely the safer RB2, obviously.
Especially when he can receive.
I would just try to get a bench wide receiver from the guy you're trading for as well. I don't like doing 2-for-1s. Try to get like whoever he has on his bench that might have still some upside. If he is forcing you to 2-for-1, do it and just pick up free agent.
Robbie Anderson.
Not Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, what the hell? Why would you say that?
Alec Pierce.
Because his old teammate's about to be his quarterback.
But yeah, I think I would do that trade, especially if you have some decent wide receiver depth. I'd swing it. All right, next one here. Tyler Algier, 4.5 points, 13 carries for 45 yards, and his snap share jumped up to 59%, though. Calm or chaos?
I'm still calm. He's still warming up to the league. Yeah. He didn't really get a shot till just now, so I'm not about to watch him play for one game.
I like that other guy more though.
And call it quits.
Huntley. I would prefer Huntley over Tyler Algier.
I can't argue that. But I'm still not giving up on Algier.
I'm definitely holding on to him.
Yeah, hold on. Obviously, don't start, but hold on your bench. I think there is still some upside to be had with Algier. James Robinson, 5.9 points, 10 carries for 27 yards. Did catch both of his targets for 12 yards, but his snap share went down to 40%, lowest this season. And ETN ate up some of that, 53%, and had 14.4 points, outperformed him on the day. Calm or chaos for J-Rob?
Absolute chaos.
All right.
I'm just playing.
All right.
I'm staying so calm on J-Rob.
Me too. But I am a little bit nervous being a J-Rob owner.
Yeah, you don't like that ETN's somehow working his way back.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
ETN was dead in the water. But the NFL is weird like that because you'll think somebody's irrelevant, and then one week they'll just pop up and be like, "Here I am."
The Eagles changed the Jaguars.
Yeah,
in many bad ways.
Their team.
I mean, it kind of went in the game script as well. Like the Jaguars were struggling all day, so ETN being on the field for more of the passing situations as they were trying to either stay at the same score as the Texans or come back later in the game kind of makes sense. I do think better days are ahead for the Jaguars as a whole. Really well let down game all around for the Jags. So I'm still leaning towards a little bit calm here for J-Rob.
Thank you.
Last running back, Naji Harris, 6.6 points, 49% of the snaps, 11 carries for 20 yards. Did catch 3 of 4 targets for 16 yards, but was outscored and outsnapped by Jalen Warren in this game.
Chaos.
Chaos, man.
That's bad for a first-round pick, too.
Yeah.
You hate to see that.
Unfortunately, this game got out of hand so fast. Like, the game was over immediately. It might not be any better next week against the Bucs. So if you have a better option next week, I'd consider it. But I do think Naji Harris definitely has some better days ahead. I think he's
but how good are those better days?
I think he's probably more of an RB2 than an RB1 this year.
That's so disappointing.
A low end, mid to low end RB2.
Before draft day, did you ever think that you would be considering benching Naji if you?
It's just crazy because that game yesterday, they were down 17 and they were still just running it with Naji. Why not throw it to Naji? And he was getting stuffed. The ball would be snapped and all the defenders would already be tackling him.
Yeah, I don't know. Naji Harris, it's scary hours right now, to be honest. It's definitely chaos. So hopefully he can get back on track. I think the workload will still be his. I think they were just down a bunch, so they just put Warren out there to catch some passes. But we shall see. Let's move on to some wide receivers. Christian Kirk, 2.1 points, 1 catch on 3 targets for 11 yards. He did have 6+ targets through the first 4 games, so this is really his first collapse of a game. Calm or chaos?
He'll be fine. I'm calm on Trev. I'm calm on his number 1 target.
It's just a big Marv day.
Yeah.
Marvin my boy.
Jones.
I love him.
Corpse of Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Chill.
Corpse.
He kind of is a living corpse, but
All right, everybody settle down. Right?
we'll talk about him when we get to trust or bust. Quick question in the chat. He has Kyle Pitts to move. Any realistic running back targets?
Now, if this question was asked last week, I would say try and get Breece Hall, but that's out of the question now. You're probably no shot getting
You
him.
could try and get James Robinson.
No
Either of them,
way.
maybe
You
ETN.
don't think so?
You could
After a
try,
down week?
but like it's scary right now.
Maybe Melv.
Like Kyle Pitts'
my
value
God.
is probably at an all-time low, so I wouldn't be trying to move him unless you have like another solid tight end. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a running back, you're probably looking for a low-end RB2. Maybe
Zeke and
Ramondre
or
Stevenson,
Pollard.
but that's his value is going to be hard to get. Maybe
Ooh.
Kareem Hunt if you're desperate trying to get somebody to
Kareem's
just
a
plug and
juicy
play.
one.
Yeah,
Pollard
it
was
is
juicy
juice.
too.
Yeah, Pollard is also pretty solid. So it's around that value right now for Kyle Pitts, which is a little crazy. So you might not get as much as you could get maybe week 1 or 2, or if he does come back and have another big game. All right. Let's move on to Jalen Waddle, 5.3 points, 3 catches on 3 targets for 23 yards, back-to-back weeks with less than 6 fantasy points. Calm or chaos?
He's going to be all right once two.
I'm saying it's
We
a little
need Tua.
chaotic only because, they need to they're down to the third string guy, and who knows when either will be back.
I'm staying calm just because I think both of them are dealing with concussions. Typically, we'll see concussions only last a week or 2, sometimes 3 weeks.
Not
So
nowadays.
maybe not Tua, but I think Teddy at least has a better chance of coming back sooner rather than later. He played one play, got up a little bit, like off balance, nowhere near what happened to Tua, and then they pulled him just because of the new rule. So we shall see. I think he should basically be able to clear it this week, but I'm no doctor, so it's all speculation.
Stay calm on
Stay calm on Waddle. Jets wide receivers, we'll talk about another one in a minute, but starting with the 2 that have been scoring points. Garrett Wilson, 5.7 points, only played 56% of the snaps. Corey Davis, 5.8 points. The Jets got out big in this one and just kept pouring it on the Dolphins. Calm or chaos for either or both?
I'm calm. They just went with what was working. It is crazy how they scored 40 points and nothing went to the wide receivers. Conklin as well. So I think it was just a week where the running backs were working.
I agree.
Yeah. I am in the same boat. Agree completely. Brandon Cooks, 6 points, 4 catches on 6 targets for 20 yards. He has 6+ targets in every single game, but he has fewer than 10 fantasy points in 3 of 5 games. Calm or chaos for Cooks?
It's tough. It's like somewhere in between because you're
Yeah.
so calm on the targets, but it's so chaos for the stats that he puts up. Like,
Yeah, the numbers
don't
aren't
know.
where you want them to be. I'm leaning towards calm, but I'm leaning more towards Cooks is probably better as your flex than wide receiver 2 that you drafted him to be.
Definitely.
yep. And I don't know what
And the
to do.
emergence of Damien Pierce is definitely taking a toll on his production, I feel like.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Nico
it'll help,
Collins
though.
may have outperformed him each of the last 2
Yep.
weeks in terms of fantasy points, so hurts a little bit. But
I feel
think
like the
better days
Texans are
ahead.
more comfortable running the ball now that they have Pierce.
They're just comfortable with losing.
Yeah, sure.
Although they
suck.
won.
Dumb.
Oh, shit. They still suck.
Mills Mafia, piece of truth.
Stop.
I thought
Here's the truth. Brandon Cooks would be good. All right, Drake London, 7.5 points, 4 catches on 7 targets for 35 yards. Calm or chaos?
Calm, so calm. I'm calm on my boy.
I'm calm as well.
Yeah, I
This
gotta
team's
stay
weird,
calm.
but Bucks defense is pretty good. I'm staying calm. I think better days.
Pretty
are
good.
ahead for
They're
London.
very good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's do some rapid fire, hold or fold with some of the wide receivers that have been on this list pretty much every week. At this point, are we dropping them? Hold, obviously, you're holding them. Fold, you're dropping them. Starting with Christian Watson. He has not surpassed
Fold.
9.3 points. 11
think the
targets
only-
in 4 games. Folding.
the only time he touches the ball is when they do like an end around. That's the
Exactly.
only time I've ever seen him touch the ball.
Yeah, he's a
Fold
gadget
big
guy at this
time.
point. Fold. Dynasty hold. Not holding in redraft. Drop, please. Elijah Moore. No more than 10 points in a game this season. Only 4 targets in each game with Zach Wilson. Hold or fold?
Fold.
Fold.
Old. I just traded him for a defense this week, and I'm not even upset about it.
I wouldn't be either. You got to
Yeah.
steal.
I'm leaning towards fold as well. I mean, if there's nothing better out there, I'll hold, but you could pretty much fold at this point. Allen Robinson, 5+ targets in 4 or 5 games, but fewer than 5 points in 4 or 5 games.
Hold.
The Rams outside of Cooper Kupp, so
fold in your starting lineup, still just hold on your bench.
Can we define fold? Can we define fold?
Fold
please?
means like you're dropping for someone that's out there on waivers.
Hold. I'm holding A-Rob.
Yeah, I'm holding A-Rob as well over who's out there probably. Matt, this next man can get dropped ASAP.
Someone who I'm going to talk about later.
Okay, all right. Darnell Mooney, 5+ targets in the last 3 games. Wide receiver 76.
I was offered Amari Cooper for him before the season started, and I declined it.
Tough break. I am folding as well if I have to. If you have the room on your bench, I guess hold. But this isn't looking like it's going to get better.
He's literally just taking up a spot.
Yeah. Zay Jones, 32 targets in 4 games, averaging 8 targets a game, but another dud this week. Hold or fold?
Fold.
Hold on. I need to like look at his.
I'm holding, personally.
Yeah, I think I would.
The volume's too high. Even in a game where he struggled a bit this week, he still had 8 targets. He had 24 and 12 in 2 games earlier this season as well. So, Jags are a bit weird. He's going to be inconsistent, but I think he's worth holding on your bench.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I might drop Darnell Mooney for Zay Jones if Zay Jones is out there.
I'll drop A-Rob for Zay Jones. You can
I don't know if I would go that far. I'm still buying into the name, but he's that bad.
Bro, last year, 5 games through this year, how can you still be holding?
I don't know.
Because
I'm just holding on my bench.
Name. Man on the Mooney.
Yeah, I might have to change that team name. Tough break. Russell Gage, 1 game over 7.8 points, 6+ targets in 3 or 5 games. Hold or fold?
Fold.
Probably
Tom
fold.
Brady.
Yeah,
probably fold.
Well.
And I hate to say it, that's my guy.
The volume was there in the 1 game where all the wide receivers were out. So outside of that, he's been pretty mid. You can fold if you have to. Julio Jones only has played 2 games. Bucks taking their time with his knee injury. Hold or fold?
Fold.
More useless than Gage.
Did you say hold?
Yeah.
I'm folding.
Yeah,
I'm
folding.
Yeah, he's washed. Tight ends.
Never got the chance.
For Calmer Chaos, Gerald Everett, 1.2 points, 1 catch on 3 targets for 2 yards.
See, or is this hold or fold or
this is
calm?
Yeah.
I'm calm.
I'm not folding on Gerald Everett right now.
Yeah.
He's still tight end 9 on the season.
I'm calm. I would say chaos because Parham is back, but he also had no contribution to this game. So since he had nothing, Everett's still the guy. Calm.
Yeah, I'm still leaning towards calm as well. Obviously, the target share was not as pretty as it usually is, but I do think it was just kind of more one of the one-off games.
When does Keenan come back?
Hopefully soon. They said he's day-to-day, but they're taking their time with a hamstring injury. They don't want him to come back and then re-aggravate it. So probably in the next 2 weeks, but tough to call. I thought he was going to be back every week for the last 3 weeks, and he has not. So TJ Hawkinson, 1.6 points, 1 catch on 4 targets for 6 yards. Calm or chaos?
Back to old Hawk.
Chaos.
Scored too many points in 1 week.
Yep.
It's chaos.
His production.
But I think he's just a boomer bust tight end, and there's not much better out there, so you still might be stuck starting him. But just be prepared for these type of games. You might get the big games here and there, but be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we get into Trust or Bust, let's do today's sponsor, which is Underdog Fantasy. As always, the easiest way to play fantasy football. You can get started now with Prime Time Palooza, including the Monday night game tonight and the Thursday night game. $50,000 in prizes, just I think $5 to enter. So they also have contests for baseball, hockey, and basketball if you are looking for those as well. But when you sign up, make sure you use our promo code SUPERFB, and you will get a 100% deposit match instantly up to $100. So if you deposit $10, they'll match $10, and you'll have 20 to play with. You can do that all the way up to 100 and get 200 if you want. And again, our promo code is SUPERFB, SUPERFB. You can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or you can sign up online at underdogfantasy.com. All right, let's do some Trust or Bust, starting with the QB position. My boy Gino Smith, 32.02 points, only completed 16 passes on 25 attempts, but still managed 3 touchdowns, 268 yards, and added 13 yards on the ground. And before Monday Night Football tonight, he is quarterback number 5 on the season. Trust or bust for Gino?
Literally trust.
Yeah, I'm trusting.
Trust.
Yeah,
you have to. He's been playing out of his gourd.
Yeah, trust.
Out of his gourd.
I honestly think those weapons, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, still are one of the best duos in football. They were obviously slept on because Gino Smith was expected to be bad, but he was dropping dimes in this game. I'm trusting Gino right now. At least pick him up on your bench if you're not going to start him, because he should be owned right now. That offense is looking relatively solid for what we expected.
Yep.
Carson Wentz, 27.86 points, 25 for 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Did add 15 yards on the ground, but he did fumble 3 times. Luckily, did not lose any of those. Typical Carson Wentz fashion. Trust or bust?
I'm trusting because there seems to be a pattern where, like, against defenses that are obviously going to smother him, the Eagles and the Cowboys, that's where he has bad weeks, but he's not playing those teams every week. People play them each 2 more times, but against other teams that have average defenses, the garbage time comes in, and that's where the points are scored, and it has shown.
Carson Wentz is the white Jameis Winston.
Fair.
Plain and simple. He is going to boom or bust. There's a chance he throws 3 garbage time touchdowns. There's a chance he finishes the day with 150 passing yards and 4 picks. You don't know what's going to happen. He's all over the place. The Commanders are all over the place. I'm not trusting, but if you need a bye week fill-in or a backup quarterback on your bench, Carson Wentz is a fine option, I guess. I'm treating him how I used to treat Jameis Winston on the Bucs. Anything can happen. Let's move on to some running backs. Starting with the Jets. Jets. Jets get a big win over the Dolphins. Breece Hall, 27.7 fantasy points, 97 yards rushing. Found the end zone and 2 catches on 2 targets for another 100 yards. 197 yards from scrimmage. Outrageous. Michael Carter as well, 17 points. Not as pretty, 10 carries for 21 yards. Did vulture 2 touchdowns and caught both of his targets for 12 yards. So, are we trusting both? Just trusting Breece? What's the deal with these 2?
Breece. Breece for me.
Yeah, just Breece.
Yeah.
He doesn't have under 10 in a single game. He's crap.
Yeah, I'm trusting Breece, and I'm trusting Breece closer to a low-end RB1 at this point. The numbers have been consistent. He's had 10-plus points in every single game.
He
Breece
was
is getting volume.
The first running back taken, wasn't he? In the real draft?
Yes, that as well.
It shows.
Also, I agree with this take, too.
That's
Blake
that's
2.0
taking it too far.
For Carson
too
Wentz. Yo, Blake was kind of nice that one year. Kind of like Wentz was nice that one year.
He's been nice more than 1 year.
He's been all right. All right, Alvin Kamara, 23.4 points, 23 carries, 103 yards. Caught all 6 of his targets for 91 yards. Trust or bust?
Trust.
That 6 targets is what we like to see.
Yeah, we saw him on Calmer Chaos for a couple weeks. Had to throw him back on Trust or Bust just to remind people Alvin Kamara is still that guy when he's healthy and ready to go. Trust him. Tevin Coleman, a name I thought I would never speak of again. 21.7 points, 8 carries for 23 yards, and 1 touchdown rushing. Caught all 3 of his targets as well for 44 yards and another touchdown, even though he only played 28% of the snaps. Trust or bust for Tev?
Bust, bro. Bust.
No.
Fluky numbers. Are you serious?
That's so
28% of the snaps and scored 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, biggest bust of all time. Absolutely don't pick up Tevin Coleman. Don't fall for the bait. It's still going to be Jeff Wilson's show until Eli Mitchell's back, and he should be back soon. So Tevin Coleman, bust. Please don't pick him up. Ken Walker, 16.8 points, 8 carries for 88 yards, and found the end zone. 1 catch on 1 target for -5 yards. And unfortunately, Rashad Penny's most likely out for the season. Said it's going to take 4 months to recover from. So trust Ken Walker moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit out of him.
I'm not that excited about it, but the Seahawks offense has been better passing. So I think there's going to be a lot of rushing lanes open. Ken Walker is still going to be the guy to get the bulk of the work. I assume they're going to probably look to bring someone in. I think Homer is still banged up also. So they're probably going to have to pick somebody up. But for now, you're trusting Ken Walker and hoping that that upside from being drafted as the second running back in the NFL draft pays off.
Yep. Unless DJ Dallas makes a return.
My
DJ
boy.
Dallas.
Who's currently their second RB on the depth chart.
Yeah, he could also definitely be evolved moving forward. So if you have Ken Walker, I still wouldn't pick up DJ Dallas though. Just Ken Walker. Just Ken Walker. Yeah. All right, let's move on to some wide receivers. Gabe Davis. We were almost writing him off for dead last week. 36.1 points, 3 catches on 6 targets, 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. Caught 2 bombs in this game. Trust or bust.
Tyler Lockett literally gave him like the Tyler Lockett disease.
Yeah, he did.
And now Lockett's normal again.
Yeah, Lockett's kind of nice.
He is, bro. Like I'm not trusting Gabe, but like he can win you weeks. So I don't know.
Gabe Davis
start him
like
at your
Mike
own
Williams,
risk, I guess.
Like 3 or 4 years ago, before he was like consistent. Like he can catch touchdowns, he can catch bombs, but I feel like the volume and the consistency is not going to be there.
Could drop a donut too. So
yeah,
you do like though that the Bills are going up like 20 points and they're still throwing the ball. It's just because they don't really like to run the ball. So
yeah,
I guess
in a game
factor that in
where they were up 38. They won 38-3. Singletary
doesn't
had
matter.
6 carries.
Oh.
Like they just throw. Outrageous.
Or Josh Allen runs.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Davis, you can trust him as a flex, but he's going to be boom or bust. Question from Connor. Rashad Bateman or Garrett Wilson? What do we think? I don't even know if this is a trade or like who do we prefer.
I'm going to take Garrett.
I think I'm taking Bateman if he's healthy.
Yeah,
I think I'm taking Bateman too.
I just like the Ravens offense, and I think he has less competition for targets.
Definitely.
I'm not buying Duvernay still as legit. Even though
Fuck Devin Duvernay.
I want to
relatively
believe him. I want to believe him as the truth.
Why are y'all hating on my man's Duve?
Still leaning towards Bateman. And he also responded to Joe's question earlier. Breece Hall, Stevenson, Pierce, Ken Walker. Some of the guys we mentioned as well. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, it's still tough to trade for.
Yep.
All right. Tyler Lockett, as we just talked about a second ago, 27.4 points, 5 catches on 6 targets, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Are we trusting Tyler Lockett as a locked-in wide receiver 2 at this point?
Yes.
Big trust.
There's no reason to say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you one.
Like, the only fear would have been quarterback play, but, dude, Tyler Lockett is wide receiver 7 on the season.
Holy hell.
He's back. You're trusting. There might be some down games ahead. We know as soon as we trust Tyler Lockett fully, he disappears, but I'm trusting right now. I think you have to. You don't have a choice. De'Ami Brown, 26.5 points, 2 catches on 4 targets, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Absolutely outrageous. He did the Mike Evans and went crazy with it with the yardage. Trust or bust?
Biggest
Bust.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards
Way
bust.
too many receivers over there, especially when Jahan comes back healthy. De'Ami's just an afterthought.
Yeah. Bust. The ultimate boomer bust.
He heard what Amon Ross said about him.
Yeah, he did.
He said,
He
yo,
said,
let
"Watch
me
this."
snap real quick. All right. Jacoby Myers, 24.1 points, 7 catches on 8 targets for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. Trust or bust here for Myers?
I'm not buying it
Maybe
Why not?
Bailey. Maybe
Why
Bailey's
not?
the truth.
because he's been so inconsistent. Like in the past. Last year, he was so up and down, and it just drove me crazy. I'm not trusting him. Not one bit.
All
How
right,
could
that's
you
fair.
not? How could you do that?
What do you mean? He
Trust
scummed me last
I
year.
thought
Maybe
they'd be your guy, Matt.
He used to be until he couldn't score.
You stay switching up on everybody.
Hey, new quarterback, first game with Zappy. My man finds the end zone. So
That's a good
maybe-
sign.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Great sign. The best sign you can get.
And he has at least 6 targets in every game, and he's only played 3 games, but he's been very consistent this season. I'm trusting as a flex.
Me too, kinda. Like 8 out of 10 there.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the trust as well. I'm with it. Schultz in the chat, T-Guts. Something about to go down?
We're in talks of a big trade.
Ooh, all right. We will keep you posted on that. Next one here, Marvin Jones, 17.4 points. The corpse of Marvin Jones, 7 catches, 11 targets, 104 yards. Trust or bust?
Not trusting my guy.
Yeah,
But I do
Oh,
love him.
you switching.
I'm not switching. I'll scoop him right now. Try me. I'll scoop him for Mooney right now.
Honestly, low key, he hasn't even been that bad aside from last week. Obviously, against the Eagles, 1 target.
He's been
but
solid.
He's had 5 targets in every game, and he has 2 games with 13 plus fantasy points. So, like, he's not completely irrelevant, but I'm not trusting. He's worth being on as a bench wide receiver.
I love that, man.
ICE type ball.
Yeah. Randall Cobb, 16.9 points. Also, the corpse of Randall Cobb, 7 catches on 13 targets for 99 yards. Trust or bust here.
Can a corpse put up 99 yards? Can you still call him a corpse?
That's a bust. You see him this one game a year.
Yeah.
I think that 99 yards is more than he had the previous 4 games combined.
It's actually not. He actually had some decent yardage. But
really?
Catches-wise, he's only had 2 or 3 catches a game until this one. He only had the max of 4 targets in the first 4 games.
No, definitely a bust. But
leaning towards bust. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it up on a weekly basis. Tight ends. Before we get into some waiver targets. Taysom Hill, 38 points. I don't know how this man's considered a tight end with 1 target on the season. But 9 carries, 112 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. And then also had 1 pass completed for 22 yards. And threw that one for a touchdown. 4 touchdowns for this man. Trust or bust.
If Wentz is not playing, I'm trusting him.
Yeah.
100%. Yep. I picked him in my underdog thing.
That's a good John.
Want a little niner.
It's a good John.
No, I don't know. I like, bro, if Wentz is not playing, like, I would highly recommend starting Taysom Hill.
In a league where tight ends are all over the place, Taysom Hill, if he's still allowed to play as your tight end, I mean, he's not a bad option. Like,
he's a great
boomer bust, but like without Winston, he is getting some more work. So he's at least worth an ad at this point. At least.
How do teams not know that when he's in, they're just doing that run? How has no one caught
like
on
college
yet?
Or something, but it just works. It's weird. Definitely strange.
Dude, like, I wonder when the last time he had like a run for negative yards was.
Probably never.
I don't think he's ever had one.
Their O-line's solid, and he just runs. I don't get it. Either way, Taysom Hill, maybe not fully trust, but definitely worth an ad. And if you're looking for a tight end to plug in, like we said, without Winston playing, makes some sense. Hayden Hurst, 17.3 points, 6 catches on 7 targets for 53 yards, and found the end zone. Trust or bust here.
Back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. I mean,
we forgot about Hayden Hurst, low-key.
I'd start him over Pitts.
It was a revenge game for him. Yeah, I would
start him over Pitts too. He's tight end 11 on the season. He's been relatively involved. He has 1 awful game, and then every other game he's had at least 7.4 points and at least 4 targets. So I don't hate it. If you're looking for a tight end to pick up, Hayden Hurst is definitely an option out there for sure.
Yeah.
Another tight end, David Njoku, 14.8 points, 6 for 6, 88 yards. Gotta lean towards trust here.
I mean, he's been solid.
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah,
he proved me wrong.
He was more of a one-hit wonder with that 23-point game, but target share has been juiced. He's had 5+ targets in the last 4 games. I'm trusting right now.
Yep.
Lock him in. Evan Engram, 12.9 points, 6 catches, 10 targets, 69 yards. Nice.
Trust. Not a bad day for
Nice.
Nice. Trust or bust?
Bust. Not trusting Evan Engram.
Not at all. Never.
Nope. Not one bit. All right. Let's do some waiver targets. I will start us off with wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, Alec Pierce. He is only owned in 20% of leagues right now. His snap share has gone up 3 straight weeks, and in those weeks, his fantasy points have also increased from 9.1 to 12 to 16.1. In that ugly Thursday Night Football game, he still had a relatively solid game. Pittman is obviously still going to be the number 1 here and will command the bulk of the target share. But Pierce seems to have carved himself out a decent role on a team that I think will get better as the season goes on. Jonathan Taylor gets healthier again. Hopefully this O-line gets right a little bit. Alec Pierce, throw him on your bench.
Yep.
What do we got for you?
My waiver wire target, Gino Smith. Somehow the quarterback 5 is only owned in 40% of leagues. Obviously, he won't. I don't think he'll finish the season as quarterback 5, but like while he's hot, you gotta like he should definitely be rostered.
Oh, yeah.
There's 60% of leagues where he's just sitting there. So I'm just trying to think of some people that I'd consider like starting
Rodgers?
Gino over.
Stafford for sure.
Stafford definitely, and I know a lot of people drafted him as their quarterback one.
Yep.
Not
Rodgers?
me, but Rodgers.
Russell Wilson.
Rodgers has been bad.
I would start
Definitely
him
Russ.
over Russ.
Definitely Russ. I'd consider starting him over Brady. I would.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah, Brady's been pretty inconsistent too. I mean, at
Gino's
this point,
just been so hot, and they just lost their running back one.
yeah, he's going to continue to throw.
Literally.
I'm with it.
Is
I
that
am
Nifty
with it.
50s cup?
Yep. I didn't steal it. Eileen
Yeah,
did.
you did. Oh.
Why are you
with
ratting?
cops.
Literally just ratted.
Maybe she bought it.
She bought it.
I wasn't there when she did.
Yeah.
Q, would you like to go?
Snoozing.
Me?
You?
I'm awake.
You?
I was listening to why we were ratting.
I was waiting for the transition, but I'll go. Don't worry. I'll be the host now. My waiver wire pickup is going to be Eno Benjamin. Maybe just another Reynolds, just like last week, Deion Jackson. I hope that people picked him up and started him. With injuries to both James Conner and Darrell Williams, Eno Benjamin seemed to have some sort of life. He had 53 yards on 11 touches and scored his first touchdown of the season. A guy who's probably done nothing up to this date may now have some relevancy and either of them miss time, even if it's just Darrell Williams. He could be a good pickup and start with bye weeks coming up and offense that is not that bad. They were bad yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. I like Eno Benjamin. Good pickup for sure. Matt, I don't know if I agree with this one, but
That's
go for
fine.
it.
You don't got to agree with it. But I'm going to go Ben Skoranek, the true wide receiver 2 on the Los Angeles Rams. A-Rob has been continuing to struggle. I don't know why Sean is holding out hope things are going to change. But he had a career-high 8 targets last week. He is only a rookie, so, I mean, it's not saying much. And his role could increase even more if A-Rob continues to play like absolute dog shit. So, I mean, clearly Cooper Kupp's going to get his targets every week, but Rams are in desperate need of a wide receiver too. And if Skoranek's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It is broke, but
No.
Skoranek
He hasn't played less
sophomore.
than 85% of snaps all year. Oh, he's sophomore. Sorry.
Still fair. I don't hate it, honestly. Allen Robinson has been
As long as Sean thinks it's fair.
mid-AF at best. Actually, he's just been trash. I'm not even going to say he's been
garbage.
mid. All right. Buy low, sell high. Let's get into it. Q, start us off. Who's your buy low? Who's your sell high?
Buy low. T-God, this might be the time to scoop him up. It's going to be Drake London after a very hot start of 19 targets and over 150 yards. London has slowed down like most of the Falcons. For some reason, they don't like throwing the ball much. Or it's Olami Zaccheaus for some reason that's getting the targets. So I think they will somehow figure out a way to throw the ball more, whether it's the Pitts, whether it's the Drake. I think Drake will be a top receiver by the end of the season. So this is the time to buy because I don't know how much lower he can get unless he turns into Kyle Pitts, which very unlikely. My sell high is for all those ETN truthers. He had a pretty solid game yesterday. Finally, he outsnapped and outran James Robinson. So those who are still believing on ETN, this would be the time if you own him, sell high to someone one of those truthers, Vince Chaffa, and you could probably get some sort of return if you're lacking in a wide receiver or tight end, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with those. Q, T-Gods, what do we got?
Q, that was a wonderful sell high because my buy low is going to be James Robinson. This is probably the lowest the lowest value he's going to have for the rest of the season. We all know J-Rob. We all love J-Rob, I think, except for Matt.
I love him.
No. You don't get to say that anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing crazy. No crazy stats or anything. It's just J-Rob has had a pooper past couple weeks, and we all still believe in him. And we're selling high on ETN, so it all adds up. And my sell high is Raheem Mostert.
Raheem must start.
like, yes, for right now, I guess. But like when Tua comes back, like it's gonna be weird. Plus, like the headache of they don't have bad backups there. Like anyone else can still get theirs. I don't know. It's just not an ideal situation for me. Like I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. Plus, his playoff schedule for like fantasy playoffs is not very good. He has Buffalo for the first round of the playoffs, and then in the chip he's playing New England. And last time he played New England, it was week 1. He had 5 rushes and 1 reception. He had 4.2 points. He only played 42% of the snaps, but still, I don't know. I'm not all in on Mostert right now. So maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone here, but that's okay. That's okay.
I do think his value is pretty high right now. So if you're looking to just dump off a running back to a team in need, get a solid flex in return, Mostert might be your guy. Matt, buy low, sell high. What do we got?
You could get this man on fucking clearance right now. Dalton Schultz, after back-to-back goose eggs, his value is not going to get any lower than what it is right now. I think it's just has to do mainly with the Cowboys' game plan with Dak out. I think as soon as Dak comes back, he's going to be his safety blanket once again. He's going to be a lot more involved. And he was dealing with a knee injury, so, I mean, can't blame him too much. I know he came out of the game for a little bit, but I'm just banking on Dak coming back sooner than later, and when that happens, I expect his production to go way up.
I'm with that.
So high, Jacoby Myers. Get rid of him while you can. Came back from a knee injury, had 24.1 fantasy points, 7 catches on 8 targets, 111 yards, and the once in the every bluest moon touchdown for him. So I don't trust any Patriots pass catcher at all. I don't trust their quarterbacks. They love to run the ball. So I'm just selling Jacoby for whatever I can get right now.
I respect it. As much as I'm with Jacoby this year, I do think his value is pretty high right now, so I don't hate it. My buy low is Jalen Waddle. Waddle has showed in the first 3 weeks when this team is fully healthy, he is an elite part of the offense for the Dolphins. Past 2 weeks, obviously, he's been a bit off. There's been a QB carousel with all of the injuries. And this past game, he played all of the game with third-string quarterback. Tua and Teddy are both in concussion protocol, but that typically won't hold them out for longer than 2 to 3 weeks at most. So one of them should be good to go sooner rather than later. Hopefully, Tua is fully healthy and back to normal. Either way, I do think they are going to be better days are ahead for Waddle. And if you're 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, can weather the storm a bit until these quarterbacks are healthy, go out and get Jalen Waddle. My sell high is Josh Reynolds.
God,
who is buying him?
Right.
Where do you think he is on the season right now?
17.
20.
A little bit rich. 23. His last 4 games, 12.8, 15.6, 21.1, and 15.2.
I got
been putting up some numbers. So hopefully you can be able to sell him on the back of his numbers. But obviously they're heading into the bye week, so it's a little bit tough. Either way, if you are able to sell him for anything, he's not going to get anything after the bye week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra should be fully healthy. Chark should be back. Jameson Williams could be returning soon as well. Hawkinson will have better games ahead. Reynolds is going to be the 5th or 6th receiving option after DeAndre Swift also. So if you can get someone who may have more value further down the line, do it. Get Reynolds off your roster if you have him.
If you can sell him for anything, you win, because that's insane.
Yeah. A couple more questions in the chat. Would you trade James Conner for Kenneth Walker straight up?
No.
Yeah.
I might with the injury.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
James Conner has been like dummy mid.
Are you trusting James Conner right now in general?
No. No, but I think I trust him. He's on a better team.
Yeah. The
Is
touchdown
he, though?
upside is.
After all we
Seahawks have
talked
been
about the
snapping.
Seahawks.
Well, that division is garbage.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it's a wash. Dude,
They're in the same division.
it's a wash. I know they are.
I didn't know that.
It's close, but for me, I might just take the upside on Walker. He
That's
could
what I
have a
was
higher
thinking.
ceiling. Connor obviously feels like the safer bet, safer floor if you want to hold on to somebody. If he does come back, he should still get volume, but I think Walker has more upside, so I don't hate it. Another guy trying to sell high on Lockett got offered Diggs and James Conner for Lockett, Kamara, and
Do it.
Gino.
I got to do that. Look at your
Send
lineup. Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts, Eckler, Mixon. Come on. Do that right now.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
I love it.
So, yeah, I would do that. Your flex is
Do that
Kamara.
right now.
His flex would be probably
That's his usual
Hollywood.
lineup. So his new flex would be
Hollywood.
yes, Hollywood, and his wide receiver 1 would be Diggs, and he'd still have Mike Evans.
Yeah, please.
And
do
he'd
that.
have James Conner as a bench option. So
better.
Yeah.
Hopefully that offer is still on the table.
I would think that's selling high on Lockett at this point. Lockett could have
Lockett isn't even touching your starting lineup, and neither is James Conner.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
mean, not James Conner. Fucking never
Kamara.
mind. Forget it.
Kamara's touching it, but yeah. Either way, I would still do the trade. Don't hate it. Lock it in. All right. That's it for some questions. That's it for some buy lows and sell highs. Q, let's do some trivia before we get out of here.
Do you want to answer this last question, or do that
Oh.
after?
I didn't see it came in.
It literally just came in.
What should I do with Deontay Johnson and A.J. Dillon? His running backs are Fournette, Breece Hall, and he needs wide receivers.
You could probably pair him up for a good receiver.
Yeah, you could, but I think both of those guys are guys I'm holding for a little bit longer.
They're also
think-
pretty low in value right now.
Yeah, like you're not going to get anything for them right now. I think A.J. Dillon has better days coming ahead, and like if he has one of those games where he pops off, then I would try to sell him high. Don't sell him low. Deontay Johnson, you'd be selling low as well. So
Yeah.
they just played probably one of the toughest defenses in the league. Maybe it'll be a little bit tougher next week against the Bucs too, but I think Deontay gets back on track sooner rather than later with Pickett, and this offense has to get a little bit better than it's playing. They honestly should probably fire their offensive coordinator, but we'll see what happens there.
This man JAC fucking highway robberies.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. That's outrageous. Yeah. JAC, you are owning your league. I would do that other trade, and you're just going to run away with it. At
They
this
might
point.
as well give you the payout now.
Yeah.
Don't jinx them, Jesus.
Knock
Sorry,
on
I
wood.
knocked on wood for you.
All right, Q, let's do some trivia. What do we got?
All right. First question. I'm assuming everyone's ready.
I was born ready.
Somehow.
I'll be ready when Matt is done clanging that wire.
So I guess we'll be sitting here for a while. Based off of Fantasy Pros statistics, what two running backs tied for RB1 this week? So these two tied as the top running back on this week. Somehow scored the same amount of points, but I also said based off of Fantasy Pros.
I hate your guts for this question.
Truly, any.
I literally look like I do all the research for this episode
Well, clearly
and
you
look at the top players in each position. I still don't know who's at the top.
You too focused on the meat of the ranks.
All right, I
Chat,
think I
please
have.
play along as well.
Yeah, if you have any guesses, throw them in the chat. I've already locked in my answers, so
Samesies.
Yeah,
I have samesies.
Me too.
I'm not
Yes.
fully confident, but I'm pretty confident.
I'm pretty confident.
Confident on
Oh,
one.
fuck. I just thought of the other one, but it's too late now. Go ahead.
Yeah, the two are Austin Eckler and Leonard Fournette.
No,
Oh.
I forgot Lenny.
I-
But Brees.
I put Brees as
Brees
well,
was
and
three.
I thought in my head I remembered looking at Fournette at the top, but I'd already locked.
Somehow
him
they
in.
both scored 35.9 points, but that's also what Fantasy Pros says. So I don't know if that's
No,
true.
I think that's correct. I
Okay.
believe that is correct.
I own Fournette. I think he did score 35.9. But second question: What tight end? What tight end leads in targets? So who is the top tight end target in the NFL right now? Which is actually let me see. Which is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ranked number 11 in the league out of all receivers, tight ends. This tight end is the top in targets.
Wait, 11 in the league among tight ends, or
No, among
For
all
targets?
pass
For
catchers.
targets?
For targets.
Just for targets.
just
yes.
targets?
This
Okay.
guy is 11th
Okay.
out
I
of
got
all
it.
total pass catchers and first amongst tight ends. Do y'all have an answer?
Locked.
Matt, Sean, I mean,
I'm thinking. I don't like this one. Kelsey hasn't played yet tonight, so I don't think it's him.
No name dropping.
All right, whatever. I'm gonna go with this guy. All right, I'm locked.
it is Mr. Tyler Higbee.
I got it.
Damn it.
Who'd you put, Sean?
Put Ertz.
Sean, I feel like you've been on a very dry Dry
I
streak.
have. I don't know if we're keeping track anymore, but I'm definitely falling down the ranks. If we
Tyler Higgums.
That Bigby.
He has been feasting in targets. Oh my
That
God.
are all. That's all the questions for today.
Perfect. Higbee has 48 targets on the season. Is that correct?
It says 38.
Definitely 48.
No matter what, he's still top in tight ends.
I think that's not including week 5. So
I'm sure
it's
he's still
48. My guess wasn't too far off. I guess Ertz has 41. Darn it. All right. Either way, I don't see any more questions here in the chat. So that is a wrap for the week 5 recap. We will be back on Wednesday with our week 6 preview. Make sure you use our promo code SUPERFB if you're considering Underdog Fantasy. Also, if you're looking to get a jersey from your favorite player or team, we now have a partnership with Fanatics as well. Feel free to check them out at the link in our bio on all platforms, up to 65% off right now. Absolutely outrageous deal. Make sure you take advantage of that. Also, make sure you're following us here on Twitch if you're watching, or on YouTube, wherever you're watching. Make sure you're following us there. Throw us a sub on YouTube, please. Helps us out tremendously. We're on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast for the audio version. Also on all social medias at Super Fantasy Bros Podcast. Literally just Google Super Fantasy Bros. You'll find our Twitter, Instagram, and much more. See you guys on Wednesday. Peace. Ending now.